Global plastic pollution has more than doubled since the start of the century, just 23 years ago, to reach 460 million tons, and it could triple by 2060. Environment Editor Valérie Dekimpe joins me in the studio for more. Valérie, welcome. This will be the third time countries are meeting to try to seal a deal. Why has it taken so long?
Well, there's a broad consensus that a treaty is actually needed, but as one can expect, countries do not agree on the different positions. They have very different opinions about what actually should be included in this treaty. So different blocs of countries have formed, defending different positions and interests. So you have the High Ambition Coalition, essentially, of more than 60 countries. They are arguing that we should put an end to plastic pollution by 2040. This coalition is led by Rwanda, Kenya, and Norway as well, and they are calling for binding rules in order to reduce the use and production of plastic. Then you also have another coalition of countries, plastic producing economies. They, of course, do not agree on this notion that we should be reducing our consumption and production of plastic. They want to focus on recycling and better waste management. Important to note, though, that plastic production is closely intertwined with the fossil fuel industry, plastic being produced from fossil fuels. And so it is not surprising to see oil-producing countries aligning with those thinking that we should not end the production of plastic. Saudi Arabia, for example, a huge oil-producing country, leading some of those coalitions in favor of that. So you see essentially how finding a consensus between different countries, different realities, different positions will be a headache.
But they all agree that plastic is polluting.
They all agree that plastic is polluting, but they're not proposing the same solutions moving forward. And that's also, what's making the negotiations so difficult. So a lot of people, us consumers included, we tend to put our hopes on recycling. But of course, it's not that simple.
And recycling is a very polluting industry as well.
It is a polluting industry, and the problem is that it doesn't really work, or recycling rates are nowhere near where they actually need to be.
Because not every kind of plastic can be recycled.
That's the point. And if you look at the U.S., for example, I want to show you some numbers on plastic recycling in the U.S., which is an interesting example. You also have similar rates in other countries in the West. But essentially, you see how in 2021, U.S. households actually generated 51 million tons of plastic waste. Only 2.4 million tons were actually recycled. So that's just under 5%. And so one of the reasons why we actually have such low rates is what you were mentioning. We have different types of plastic. And I want to show you as well the two different types of plastic being recycled in the U.S. So you have polyethylene that's mainly found in water and soda bottles. And you also have high density plastic in milk jugs, shampoo bottles, and also other types of containers. But there's also a huge range of other products that mix different types of plastic. And that's what makes it so hard to recycle and why you end up having such low recycling rates.
Thank you so much, Valérie Dekimpe.